What if I told you that the giant watermelon you're struggling to fit in your fridge is actually a berry? Yes, you heard that right. Watermelons belong in the same category as blueberries, just with different growth potentials. So what makes a watermelon a berry? Well, for a fruit to be called a berry, it must grow from a single flower, develop a thick outer layer, and contain seeds inside a fleshy pulp. Watermelon checks all those boxes. For watermelons, the flower's ovary wall becomes a tough green rind, while the inside develops into that juicy flesh packed with seeds. Essentially, it's the same growth pattern you see in other berries, just on a much bigger scale. In addition to that, watermelons can also be classified as cousins to cucumbers and pumpkins. This is because they're all part of the Cucurbitaceae family, which is basically the family of large crawling vine plants. The watermelon is so fascinating that when you cut it open, it looks like an intricate work of botanical engineering. The white part under the green rind is called the albedo. Then comes the flesh, which is actually modified flower tissue packed with sugar and water. And in case you're wondering, those black seeds scattered throughout aren't just there to make eating more challenging. They're part of the proof of its berry status. But if you're still wondering why watermelons are bigger than other berries, just think about them as berries with pretty large appetites. They absorb large amounts of water and nutrients from the soil to grow that big. So keep that in mind if you plan to add watermelons to the ranks of your garden plants. The 350-pound watermelon. Speaking of sizes, have you ever wondered what the world's biggest watermelon looks like? Well, Chris Kent from Tennessee grew one that weighed 350.5 pounds back in 2013. That's about the same as a full-grown male lion, or if you prefer, 2 average adult pandas. Now, to put this monster melon into perspective, your average watermelon from the grocery store weighs about 20 pounds, but this record breaker was like 17 regular watermelons having a group hug. The fact is, Kent didn't just wake up one morning with a giant watermelon in his garden. He actually spent months grooming it with special seeds from champion watermelon lines. The craziest part is that this watermelon gained about 7 pounds every day during its peak growing period. Kent achieved this by constantly adjusting the watermelon's growing conditions. Temperature, soil nutrients, water levels, everything had to be perfect, because one mistake and months of work could literally go down the drain. Eventually, when harvest day came, it took several grown adults and some serious planning to move the watermelon. And after much effort, it made it to the state fair, where it was officially weighed. The giant watermelon effortlessly became the star of the show as people lined up just to take pictures with it. Surprisingly, it was actually edible. So if you're wondering if it was safe to eat and how it tasted, Kent did mention that it tasted great and was safe to eat because, unusual as it was a real homegrown watermelon. Except cutting into it must have felt like performing surgery. Watermelon, the natural Viagra. Recently, scientists discovered something pretty interesting about watermelons. They're packed with an amino acid called citrulline, which works a bit like a natural version of Viagra. So here's how it works. When you eat watermelon, your body converts citrulline into another amino acid called arginine. Arginine then helps your blood vessels relax and expand. Basically the same thing Viagra does, just not as powerful. It's like the difference between a bicycle and a motorcycle. They'll both get you there, just at different speeds. Interestingly, most of this citrulline hangs out in the white part of the rind that everybody usually throws away. Now, while this is great news, the amount of citrulline in watermelon isn't enough to replace actual medication. In fact, you'd need to eat about 3 whole watermelons to get the same effect as 1 little blue pill. At that point, your biggest problem wouldn't be blood flow. It would be finding a bathroom every minute. Additionally, research shows that this natural blood flow booster doesn't just help in the bedroom. Athletes also use watermelon juice to improve their performance in sports. This is because improved circulation helps reduce muscle soreness and speeds up recovery after exercise. While scientists like to call watermelon nature's Viagra, the best part is that unlike actual Viagra, you can eat watermelon anywhere without raising eyebrows. Nobody at the family reunion is going to question why you're having a 3rd slice of watermelon. They might just judge your table manners, but that's about it. By the way, are you looking to change or advance your career seamlessly? Sign up with our partner for today, Course Careers. It features courses in IT, accounting, data analytics, software development, and more, taught by experts in each respective field. No degree required. They also assist with job hunting to help you land the best positions. Simply click on the link in the description to get started today. The best part, they offer free mini courses to help you determine if the career and course are the right fit for you. That said, back to the video. Yellow watermelons exist. Now let's talk about yellow watermelons. Have you ever cut into what looks like a regular watermelon from the outside, but instead of that familiar pink-red flesh, you find bright yellow inside? Well, it isn't an unripe red melon. It's a yellow watermelon. Interestingly, these yellow varieties aren't some new lab experiment. They've actually been around for centuries. In actual fact, they're completely natural, growing from specific watermelon varieties that come from Africa. These watermelons are not only different in color, they also have a different taste. While red watermelons give you that classic sweet and refreshing flavor, yellow ones throw in a subtly different honey-like sweetness. And the color difference actually comes down to genetics. Where red watermelons get their color from lycopene, which is the same stuff that makes tomatoes red, yellow watermelons contain beta-carotene and beta-xanthophylls instead, which are the same natural compounds that give yellow bell peppers and corn their sunny color. But they still have all the same good stuff though, like vitamins, minerals, and water. Yet you could be very confused by them. This is because both red and yellow watermelons look identical from the outside, so you won't know what you've got until you cut it open. That's why farmers who grow yellow watermelons always have to be extra careful not to mix them up with their red cousins. But if you mistakenly buy a yellow watermelon, there's nothing to worry about. You can use yellow watermelon in all the same ways as red ones: smoothies, fruit salads, or just straight up slices on a hot day. Watermelons, the zero-waste fruit. Another fascinating fact about watermelons is that it's a zero-waste fruit. That means that everything on this fruit is edible, from the juicy center all the way to the outside, that is, the rind. Now, most people toss the watermelon rind straight into the trash, but it turns out that's like throwing away a perfectly beneficial ingredient. In many parts of Asia, they stir-fry these rinds like vegetables, which gives it a whole new taste. And you can eat it in different ways, as pickles, as sweet candied treats, or even as jam. As for the white part of the rind, it's packed with nutrients that would make any healthy food fan do a double take. It's loaded with citrulline, fiber, and potassium. In addition to turning it into candy and jam, you can also dry and grind watermelon seeds into flour, which according to research is a rich protein supplement you can use in cookies. You can also roast them up with a bit of salt to get a snack that's similar to pumpkin seeds. In fact, it's a common snack in the Middle East and China. Surprisingly, another edible part of the watermelon is the leaves. You can either cook them alone or with other leafy greens, though finding them might not be so easy unless you grow them in your garden. So next time you're about to toss any part of your watermelon, remember the 1,001 things you could do with it. Watermelon, an ancient Egyptian legacy. You probably didn't know this, but the ancient Egyptians used to place watermelons into the tombs of their kings and nobles. In fact, archaeologists have found many watermelon seeds preserved for over 4,000 years deep inside ancient Egyptian tombs. Interestingly, in old times, watermelons looked quite different from what we eat today. They were smaller, more bitter, and had pale-colored flesh instead of the bright red we know. And the Egyptians didn't just grow them for food. The fruit played a major role in their culture and beliefs. When someone important died, Egyptians filled their tombs with everything they thought the person would need in the next life. So finding watermelon seeds and paintings of the fruit in these tombs tells us something significant. They believed watermelons were valuable enough to take into the afterlife. The oldest watermelon seeds ever found were discovered in Libya's Uwin site, dating back to around 3,500 BCE. This discovery tells us that watermelons were growing in North Africa thousands of years ago, so the fruit likely spread across North Africa through ancient trade routes, eventually becoming an important crop in ancient Egypt. After which, the Egyptians became masters at growing watermelons along the fertile Nile River Valley. The DNA analysis of these ancient seeds revealed something fascinating. Research has shown that these ancient seeds belong to the same species as modern watermelons, Citrullus lanatus. This means that over thousands of years, farmers selectively bred the sweetest, largest, and most colorful watermelons, slowly getting rid of that bitter pale ancestor and making room for the sweet red fruit we enjoy today. According to history, the ancient Egyptians did consume a lot of watermelons. They ate watermelons in their homes and at feasts and festivals. They even had special containers designed to carry and store these watermelons, showing how important it was to their diet. Today, Egypt still grows watermelons, continuing a farming tradition that's literally older than the pyramids. In fact, modern Egyptian farmers produce over 2 million tons of watermelons every year, making them one of the world's top watermelon producers. Well, you've just discovered some amazing facts about watermelons. We'd love to hear which fact fascinated you the most, so let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. See you next time.